It's Monday, February 2nd, and as we move deeper into the first full week of February, winter is showing no signs of backing off, especially across eastern and central parts of Canada. While January is behind us, the overall pattern feels very familiar: cold air firmly in place in the east, and a noticeably milder setup holding on across parts of the west and prairies. Let's start with the big picture. As we head through the first half of this week, a large pool of Arctic air remains anchored over eastern Canada. This cold air mass will continue to suppress temperatures well below seasonal averages, and by late week into next weekend, there are growing signals that an even colder push could drop south, reinforcing the chill for Ontario, Quebec, and Atlantic Canada. Up north, northern Canada stays relatively quiet in terms of major storms. There will be a few pockets of light snow moving through from time to time, but nothing particularly intense. Temperatures remain cold but fairly stable, with wind chills continuing to be the main story rather than heavy snowfall. Later this week, some communities will notice another brief dip in temperatures, but overall it's a steady winter pattern rather than an active one. Now let's turn our attention to Atlantic Canada, where the main weather story early this week is the powerful winter storm impacting the region as Monday begins. Overnight, snow continues to spread across Newfoundland, with the most severe conditions focused on eastern and central areas, including the Avalon Peninsula. St. John's remains the biggest concern, with heavy, wet snow piling up and strong winds making visibility extremely poor at times. Snowfall totals here are impressive, with some areas pushing well beyond 40 to 50 centimeters by the time this system winds down. When you combine that with strong wind gusts, blowing snow, and rapidly deteriorating road conditions, travel through much of Monday will be extremely difficult, if not impossible in some locations. Delays, cancellations, and closures are very likely. Nova Scotia is also dealing with impacts, though more localized compared to Newfoundland. Snow continues Monday morning in parts of the province, especially eastern areas, with gusty winds adding to the challenge. Some regions have seen lower snowfall totals than initially expected due to a slight shift in the storm track, but that doesn't eliminate the risk. Conditions can still be hazardous, particularly for travel early in the day. Prince Edward Island and southern New Brunswick will see lighter impacts overall, but periods of snow and wind may still cause slippery roads and reduced visibility, especially early Monday. As this system slowly pulls away later Monday into Tuesday, conditions will gradually improve across Atlantic Canada. Winds will ease, snowfall will taper off, and cleanup efforts will begin, but the cold air remains firmly in place. Moving west into Quebec and Ontario, the story from Monday onward is all about cold. Temperatures stay well below normal, and while widespread snowfall isn't expected for most areas, there are still some pockets to watch. Northern Ontario could see occasional snow through Monday and Tuesday, with light accumulations adding up over time. Southern Ontario remains quiet weather-wise, but don't let that fool you, the cold is biting. Wind chills Monday morning will feel harsh, and daytime highs struggle to climb. As we look ahead toward next weekend, confidence is increasing that even colder temperatures could arrive, with daytime highs dropping significantly below freezing and nighttime lows plunging further. Quebec follows a similar trend. Cold dominates the forecast, sunshine comes and goes, but temperatures remain stubbornly low. By late week, some areas could be dealing with eye-catching cold during the day, not just overnight. Now let's head west, where the weather story looks very different. Across the prairies, Monday brings a mix of conditions. Manitoba starts the day with lingering snow and gusty winds, which could still cause areas of blowing snow and reduced visibility, particularly early on. As the day progresses, conditions slowly improve. Alberta and Saskatchewan continue to benefit from a milder pattern. Cities like Calgary stay above freezing, which is a stark contrast to what much of the country is experiencing. Winds may pick up at times, especially into southern Alberta early this week, but overall, temperatures remain relatively comfortable for early February. By midweek, that milder air spreads farther east. Regina climbs above the freezing mark, and even Winnipeg begins to see a noticeable temperature rebound by Thursday, offering a brief break from the deep cold. Finally, let's talk about British Columbia. Southern BC remains locked into a cloudy and rainy pattern as the week begins. Monday continues wet for coastal areas, including Vancouver Island and the Lower Mainland. Although the heaviest rainfall has already passed, additional rain is still expected, and with saturated ground, there remains some concern for localized flooding, especially in low-lying or flood-prone areas. Vancouver Island could still see significant rainfall totals add up early this week, while higher elevations deal with rising freezing levels and ongoing snowmelt. That combination keeps rivers and streams something to watch closely. The good news is that by midweek, a drier pattern begins to move in for southern BC. Skies gradually brighten, rain tapers off, and temperatures remain well above seasonal averages. Vancouver, in particular, looks to enjoy milder, more settled conditions as we head toward the middle of the week. So, to wrap it all up from Monday onward, Atlantic Canada is dealing with a major winter storm early in the week, central Canada remains locked in a deep freeze with even colder air possible later on, the prairies enjoy a milder stretch. And British Columbia continues wet before turning calmer midweek. February has arrived, but winter is very much in control. Stay safe, stay prepared, and make sure you're keeping up with the latest forecasts, because this pattern still has plenty of twists ahead.